100 Steps to Stop Being a People Pleaser. Welcome to Love Lux Amore, where we talk about self-development and fulfilling our dreams. If you're new here, be sure to like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe. You won't want to miss out on the insights and strategies we share, especially if you're determined to break free from people-pleasing. Today, we're tackling a challenge many face: how to stop being the perpetual nice girl or nice guy who always puts others first, and start prioritizing your own needs without losing your inherent kindness. We're diving into 100 practical steps, complete with examples, that will guide you from being overly accommodating to establishing a more balanced and respectful approach in your relationships. I'm thrilled you're here, because choosing to prioritize yourself is a transformative act of self-care that can profoundly impact every aspect of your life. But first, let me introduce you to loveluxamore.com. If you love having essential tools and resources at your fingertips, you'll adore our site. We offer everything from vision board analysis to goal-setting sessions and custom affirmations. These tools are crucial because the journey to no longer being a people pleaser often involves clarifying your vision, setting strategic goals, and constantly reminding yourself of your worth. A vision board does more than display aspirations. It's a concrete representation of your desires and a daily reminder of where your energy should be focused. Tailored goal-setting sessions help ensure your efforts align with your personal values, which is especially important as you learn to assertively say no. And custom affirmations are vital for silencing those internal voices that tempt you to default back to people-pleasing. So, visit loveluxamore.com to find holistic tools that will boost your confidence and help maintain your focus on self-respect and assertiveness. And while you're here, don't forget to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on our latest videos, filled with tips to help you grow and assert yourself in every area of your life. By liking and commenting, you help us understand which topics resonate with you, allowing us to better tailor our content to meet your needs. Now, let's dive into those 100 steps. Each step is accompanied by a brief example that illustrates how to make small yet impactful changes to stop letting others dictate your choices. From establishing everyday boundaries to embracing significant life changes, these steps are designed to meet you where you are and empower you to embrace a more confident version of yourself. If you've been pondering this change, remember, the only one who can truly grant you permission to transform your life is you. So, grant yourself that permission now, and let's get started. 100 Steps to Stop Being a People Pleaser. 1. Recognize your own worth. Sometimes, we accept mistreatment because we feel we don't deserve better, but you're worthy of respect and consideration, no matter what anyone else says. Example: Simone used to let Dave call her only to complain about his problems. She realized she never received the same emotional support in return and decided she deserved a more balanced friendship. 2. Start small with boundary setting. If you're used to always saying yes, try politely declining a minor favor to train your mind that refusing is okay. Example: Tasha calmly refused Emma's last-minute babysitting request. She explained she already had plans and couldn't accommodate more demands on her time. 3. Pay attention to your emotions. If certain interactions leave you anxious or drained, it's a clue that better boundaries are needed. Example: Felicia noticed she always felt stressed after lunch with Alex. She realized he constantly demanded favors without offering any support in return. 4. Know that being kind and being a pushover are two different things. A genuinely kind person decides to help out of compassion, not out of fear of conflict or guilt. Example: Michelle empathized with Nia's struggles but respectfully declined when Nia asked her for a large sum of money. She recognized it was beyond a simple favor and could create a harmful dynamic. 5. Write down your personal values. Knowing your core principles, like loyalty or honesty, helps you spot conflicts more easily. Example: Aria listed integrity as a key value and used it to check whether Blake's white lies were acceptable to her. She realized they weren't and decided to call him out gently. 6. practice self-affirmations daily. Repeating statements like "I deserve respect" helps reprogram your mind toward healthier self-esteem. Example, Louisa placed a sticky note on her mirror that read, "My feelings matter." Each morning, she recited it aloud to boost her confidence. 7. Stop apologizing for everything. Reserve apologies for real mistakes, not for merely existing or expressing your needs. Example, Ava noticed she automatically said sorry when Mason bumped into her. She started replacing it with a simple "excuse me," saving apologies for genuine errors. 8. Notice how you react to praise. Accepting compliments graciously strengthens your sense of self-worth. Example, Josie used to brush off Cal's compliments. She then trained herself to smile and say, "Thank you, I worked hard on it," instead. 9. Understand that confrontation isn't always bad. Respectful disagreements can resolve issues rather than letting resentment fester. Example, Adeline confronted Peter about arriving late every time they met. After a calm chat, he understood how it affected her and made an effort to be more punctual. 10. Set time boundaries. Being available 24/7 devalues your own schedule, so decide when you are available. Example, Clara told her boss, Randy, she wouldn't respond to work emails after 7 p.m. She noticed her stress levels dropped significantly after she enforced this rule. 11. Resist the urge to over-explain. A short, "No, I can't," or "that doesn't work for me," prevents negotiation or guilt trips. Example, when Ben asked Lucy to cover his shift, she simply said, "Sorry, I'm not available." She didn't add a string of justifications that could invite him to argue. 12. Establish personal rituals. Having a morning routine or meditation time sends a message that not all your hours are free for others. Example, Priya reserved 6 to 7 a.m. for yoga, which she refused to give up for Paula's random chat requests. She felt calmer and more centered all day as a result. 13. Use I statements when expressing concerns. This shifts the focus from blaming others to explaining your feelings. Example, Monique told Troy, "I feel disrespected when you make jokes at my expense." Troy was less defensive since she didn't phrase it as an attack. 14. Practice eye contact and confident posture. Standing tall signals you won't be easily manipulated. Example, Ava squared her shoulders and maintained steady eye contact when Paula belittled her contributions. Paula eventually backed off, realizing she wasn't intimidating Ava anymore. 15. Stay consistent in your boundaries. Saying no once, but then caving the next time, encourages people to keep pushing. Example, Jillian turned down Marcus's request to borrow money. She did the same the second time he asked, reinforcing that her boundary was non-negotiable. 16. Reflect on why you're saying yes. Choose to help out of genuine willingness rather than fear of displeasing others. Example, Cassie paused before agreeing to cover Sarah's shift, asking herself if she truly wanted to. Realizing she needed a break, she politely refused. 17. Learn from past situations where you felt used. Note any red flags you ignored so you don't repeat the pattern. Example, Harper recalled loaning Kylie money countless times without repayment. She decided never to lend large sums again without clear terms. 18. Distinguish politeness from subservience. You can be courteous without bending to every demand. Example, Bella greeted her neighbor Sasha warmly, but firmly declined her request to water her garden every day. She valued being polite but not at the cost of her time. 19. Create a go-to refusal phrase. Having something prepped helps you hold your ground under pressure. Example, Amber always used her default line, "That's not going to work for me," whenever Jordan asked for free graphic design. She didn't have to scramble for words, which made her refusal more confident. 20. Delegate tasks when overwhelmed. You're not obligated to do everything just because you're nice. Example, Emma asked Connor, her roommate, to handle his share of the cleaning. It relieved her stress from doing it all on her own. 21. Identify passive-aggressive behavior. If people drop snarky remarks instead of direct communication, address it. Example, Lindsay calmly asked Dominic what he meant when he said, "Oh, you decided to show up," in a sarcastic tone. Exposing the comment made him realize she wouldn't tolerate snide digs. 22. Surround yourself with supportive people. Friends who encourage your boundaries will help you grow. Example, Chloe found herself gravitating toward Damon and Iris, who admired her decision-making instead of trying to guilt her into favors. They cheered her on whenever she stood up for herself. 23. Know the difference between empathy and self-sacrifice. Caring about people shouldn't mean neglecting your own well-being. Example, Alicia lent an ear to Tanya's breakup woes but refused to engage in 2 a.m. calls every night. This balance allows her to be supportive while still getting enough rest. 24. Voice preferences in small scenarios. Practicing on minor decisions helps you speak up about bigger issues. Example, Hazel insisted on trying the new sushi spot instead of saying anything's fine to Naomi. She realized how empowering it felt to express her opinion. 25. Track how often you say yes. You'll be surprised at how much you commit to without thinking. Example, Daisy noticed she said yes to 3 different tasks in one afternoon alone. She quickly saw the pattern was draining her and started saying no more often. 26. Move on from one-sided relationships. Real connections involve give and take, not constant giving on your end. Example, Ivy recognized Olivia never reciprocated or initiated hangouts. She decided to invest her time in people who truly cared. 27. Accept that sometimes you'll disappoint people. It's impossible to make everyone happy without losing yourself. Example, Ella felt guilty turning down Sasha's request for party planning help, but she needed the time for her own projects. Sasha was initially upset, but Ella stayed firm. 28. Celebrate each small boundary-setting success. Give yourself a pat on the back whenever you advocate for your needs. Example, Rosa treated herself to a latte after telling her sister June she couldn't lend her car. This reward kept her motivated to stand up for herself. 29. Remember that nice isn't the same as strong character. You can be both kind and self-respecting. Example, Sarah noticed that her coworker, Emily, often let others take credit for her ideas to avoid confrontation. She respected Laura more, who was not only helpful and cooperative but also made sure her contributions were acknowledged without compromising her relationships. 30. Get comfortable with mild tension. Not all moments will be perfectly harmonious, and that's okay. Example, Isabel repeated her refusal to Aaron even though the room felt a bit awkward. She accepted this unease as a natural part of asserting herself. 31. Rehearse difficult conversations in advance. Practicing your words reduces anxiety when the moment arrives. Example, Juliana practiced telling Ethan she wouldn't complete Ethan's part of a group assignment. When it came time, Juliana spoke calmly and confidently. 32. Don't assume others know your limits. You must communicate them explicitly. Example, Nyla told Patrick she needed a day's notice before babysitting so he wouldn't spring last-minute requests on her. Patrick respected her more for setting that expectation. 33. Shift from I have to I choose to. This reclaims your power and banishes guilt. Example, Grace realized she was helping her mom pack because she wanted to support her, not out of fear or obligation. It felt far more empowering than viewing it as a chore. 34. Implement daily self-checks. Ask if you're doing anything purely out of guilt or obligation. Example, Pearl realized she planned to bake cookies for a coworker she barely knew just to seem nice. She decided to skip it and felt relieved. 35. Set boundaries early in relationships. Prevention is easier than fixing bad patterns later. Example, Kendra told her new boyfriend, Clark, she cherished having alone time at least twice a week. By stating it up front, she avoided future clashes over personal space. 36. Embrace that you can outgrow certain people. Evolving often means shedding relationships that stifle your growth. Example, Mara realized her old high school group mocked her entrepreneurial goals. She gently distanced herself to find more like-minded friends. 37. Say no, succinctly. Offering lengthy explanations can invite counterarguments. Example, Hannah declined Lila's party invitation by simply stating, "No, I can't make it." Lila had little room to push back. 38. Recognize guilt trips. If someone tries to make you feel solely responsible for their problems, question the fairness of that. Example, Zoe spotted Roy's manipulation when he said, "Only you can fix this for me," after years of similar pleas. She remained firm in declining, understanding it wasn't her job. 39. Use confident body language. Stand straight, maintain calm facial expressions, and avoid fidgeting. Example, Penny kept her shoulders back when Travis tried to talk over her in a meeting. He immediately toned down his dominance when he saw she wouldn't yield. 40. Be okay making people slightly uncomfortable. Setting boundaries isn't always smooth, but it's necessary. Example, Catalina politely declined Ava's third request for free tutoring that week. Ava was visibly annoyed, but Catalina stood firm. 41. Limit apologies in digital communication. Over-apologizing can make you appear less confident than you are. Example, Serena replaced, "I'm sorry to bother you," in emails with, "Thank you for your time." She noticed recipients treated her with more respect. 42. Give yourself permission to prioritize you. It's not selfish, it's an act of self-love. Example, Farah spent her Saturdays painting instead of running errands for Mark. She felt happier and less resentful as a result. 43. Practice receiving help. Always doing everything alone drains your resources and signals that you don't need support. Example, Brianna finally accepted Owen's offer to drive her to the airport. She realized it felt good to let others be there for her occasionally. 44. Notice repeated manipulation. If someone only appears when they need something, it's likely not a healthy connection. Example, Jade saw that Nora only messaged her about tech issues and money. She minimized contact once she saw the pattern never changed. 45. Learn to love the word, no. It frees up your energy for the people and tasks that truly matter. Example, Gloria felt a sense of relief telling Stephanie, "No, I can't tutor you every Saturday." She cherished the time to work on her own goals. 46. Conduct a friendship inventory. Identify which relationships uplift you and which drain you. Example, Kayla realized Hannah left her feeling stressed and inadequate, while Corinne always inspired her. She chose to spend more time with Corinne. 47. Develop a self-care routine. Physical, mental, or emotional practices help you recharge and stay strong in your boundaries. Example, Elaine committed to journaling each night for 20 minutes. Reflecting helped her better handle conflicts during the day. 48. Stop rescuing people from their own responsibilities. Over-involvement can stifle their growth and exhaust you. Example, Leah refused to keep covering Kayla's shift. She then told Kayla to discuss her schedule issues with the boss directly. 49. Acknowledge that fear may drive your niceness. Recognizing this helps you tackle the root cause. Example, Rachel worried Tara would drop their friendship if she ever said no. She then worked on her self-esteem so she could set limits without fear of abandonment. 50. Use technology to reinforce boundaries. Avoid responding to late-night work messages if it's not urgent. Example, Marta turned off notifications at 8 p.m. She felt more rested and noticed coworkers adjusted to her schedule. 51. Assert yourself in small, everyday ways. Correcting a wrong coffee order builds confidence for bigger confrontations. Example, Mia asked the barista to fix her latte instead of quietly accepting the wrong drink. It was a tiny win that boosted her self-worth. 52. Examine learned behavior from childhood. Early lessons about compliance can linger in adulthood. Example, Vivian realized her parents always demanded immediate obedience, which left her unable to say no to authority figures. Awareness helped her break the pattern. 53. Accept that some people will exit your life as you stand your ground. That's a normal part of growth. Example, Nina noticed Carter faded away after she stopped writing his reports for free. Though it stung initially, she recognized she was better off. 54. Clearly state your preferences. Avoid going along with everything just to keep the peace. Example, Olivia admitted to Jordan that she preferred hiking to partying. Sharing her real interests made her feel truer to herself. 55. Refuse to let others define your worth. Validate yourself instead of seeking constant external approval. Example, Selena used to rely on Jade's compliments for confidence. She started reminding herself of her accomplishments each morning, reducing that dependency. 56. Recognize boundaries as self-love. Treat yourself as you'd treat a friend you deeply care about. Example, Kiara told Dylan she wouldn't chat past midnight anymore. She valued her sleep and realized she was showing her self-respect by setting that rule. 57. Don't hide your achievements for fear of overshadowing others. True friends celebrate with you instead of feeling threatened. Example, Gabriella proudly shared her promotion with Levi. Levi congratulated her warmly, reinforcing their mutual respect. 58. Walk away from disrespectful conversations. You owe no one your attention if they treat you poorly. Example, Melody calmly left the room when Rico began insulting her intelligence. She decided not to engage with his hostility. 59. Watch if you're always picking up the tab. Generosity is wonderful but shouldn't be exploited. Example, Tori realized she often paid for meals with Elsa who never offered to split. She politely started asking for separate checks. 60. Customize your communication style. If non-stop calls overwhelm you, request messages or emails instead. Example, Paige let friends know she preferred texting rather than random, lengthy phone calls. This allowed her to feel less pressured and more in control of her time. 61. Don't confuse loyalty with blind devotion. Loyalty should be reciprocal, not a one-way street. Example, Trisha ended her friendship with Jenna, who expected her to lie continuously about everything. She recognized genuine loyalty must be fair and honest. 62. Realize that being a people pleaser often stems from low self-esteem. Building confidence helps you break the habit of people pleasing. Example, Ava noticed she always said yes to Devin's demands out of fear he'd reject her otherwise. She began working on self-love to reduce that fear. 63. Address boundary crossings immediately. Letting things slide once makes it easier for them to happen again. Example, Cassidy spoke up the moment Nick made a disrespectful remark about her looks. He seemed taken aback but respected her directness. 64. Use humor lightly, don't water down your stance. A witty remark can ease tension, but be sure your boundary remains clear. Example, Isabella teased Dave back with, "I charge for overtime," when he jokingly asked her to finish his task. He got the message that her time wasn't free. 65. Avoid people who never take responsibility for their actions. They'll likely shift blame onto you or anyone else around. Example, Chloe noticed Kevin blamed her for everything that went wrong in group projects. She distanced herself to avoid his endless finger-pointing. 66. Embrace your emotions instead of suppressing them for peace. Acknowledging hurt feelings prevents resentment. Example, Mira calmly told Nate she felt dismissed when he ignored her suggestions. Surprisingly, he apologized once he realized how his behavior affected her. 67. Pick a role model who exemplifies healthy assertiveness. Studying someone you admire can guide your own behavior. Example, Ruby watched Rosa navigate office conflicts with calm, clear communication. She tried to mimic her confident tone during her next team meeting. 68. Be mindful of how you spend your time. Don't let others monopolize your schedule with their tasks or drama. Example, Phoebe cut back volunteer hours so she could enroll in a weekend art class. She felt more fulfilled pursuing her passion. 69. Reframe being nice as being respectful, both to others and yourself. This helps you balance compassion with self-preservation. Example, Alondra respected Sophia as a friend by listening to her story. She also respected herself by declining his request to do all her paperwork. 70. Identify any sense of obligation you feel toward specific people. Genuine relationships aren't about perpetual debt. Example, Taylor realized she helped Caden repeatedly just because Caden had once given her a small favor years ago. Recognizing the imbalance freed her from that sense of debt. 71. Challenge perfectionism. Trying to be flawlessly nice sets you up for burnout. Example, Bree accepted she couldn't attend every single social event to please everyone. Skipping a few gatherings helped her maintain her well-being. 72. Reward boundary setting wins. Positive reinforcement cements new habits. Example, Violet felt proud telling Selena she couldn't drive her everywhere. She rewarded herself with a nice warm bath and face mask that night. 73. Ask if you're placing others on a pedestal. No one is inherently better or more deserving of endless favors. Example, Margot saw Ray as absolutely perfect, which made her terrified to say no. Realizing Ray had flaws too helped Margot stand up for herself. 74. Differentiate politeness from authenticity. It's okay to share your true feelings respectfully. Example, Willow kindly but frankly told Jade she didn't enjoy that restaurant. Jade appreciated her honesty and they found a place they both liked. 75. Let people solve their own problems at times. Constant rescuing fosters dependency and drains you. Example, Felicity listened to Mark's financial woes but refused to keep lending him money. She encouraged him to create a budget instead. 76. Journal about moments you felt pressured. Writing helps reveal patterns and triggers you might miss otherwise. Example, Ellie wrote about feeling compelled to attend Danny's parties, even when she was exhausted. She noticed she feared missing out on friendships and decided to set clearer limits. 77. See no to others as yes to yourself. This perspective helps reduce any guilt. Example, Yara told Rico she couldn't help move apartments this time. She enjoyed a peaceful weekend focusing on her hobbies instead. 78. Keep your circle small if necessary. Fewer respectful relationships can be healthier than many manipulative ones. Example, Ariana realized Mimi and Vince were the only two friends who consistently respected her boundaries. She happily spent more quality time with them. 79. Speak in a calm tone when asserting yourself. Yelling escalates conflict, composure projects confidence. Example, May quietly told Trevor, "Don't raise your voice at me." He lowered his tone, sensing she was serious. 80. Recognize that you can still care without fixing everything. Supporting someone emotionally doesn't require doing all the work for them. Example, Layla offered Adam encouragement but refused to complete his projects. He learned to handle his responsibilities himself. 81. Have boundary phrases ready. Quick responses prevent you from caving to pressure. Example, Zoe always said, "That's not going to be possible," when Paula asked her to do her tasks. Paula eventually stopped trying to offload her work onto Zoe. 82. Identify your triggers. If monetary requests are your weak spot, explore why. Example, Fiona realized she felt obligated to bail out her brother Kyle due to childhood guilt. Recognizing that made it easier to refuse repeated loans. 83. Consider whether you'll regret not speaking up later. Short-term discomfort beats long-term resentment. Example, Daria dreaded confronting Sam's sarcastic jokes. But she knew she'd hate herself more if she let it continue. 84. Understand you aren't responsible for everyone's reactions. People might be upset, but that's their burden to handle. Example, Gareth fumed when Emma canceled plans, yet Emma held firm, knowing she wasn't obligated to fix his disappointment. 85. Quit saying it's fine when it isn't. Clear issues can only be resolved if acknowledged. Example, Delia told Vaughn she was upset he arrived an hour late. He apologized and promised to respect her time going forward. 86. Confront fear of loneliness. Sometimes, toxic relationships cling precisely because you're afraid of having no one. Example, Natalie ended things with Todd, who persistently guilt-tripped her. She trusted she'd be better alone than in a manipulative partnership. 87. Celebrate incremental progress. Each boundary you set strengthens your resolve for the next time. Example, Yvonne said no twice in 1 week, something she'd never done before. She treated herself to a vanilla latte as a reward. 88. Encourage yourself with positive self-talk. Remind yourself that you're taking brave steps toward healthy relationships. Example, Audrey repeated "I can do this" before confronting her demanding roommate Brianna. She then felt more equipped to stick to her boundary. 89. Talk with trusted friends or mentors. Sharing your struggles and successes helps keep you accountable. Example, Eliza told her cousin Michelle how proud she felt after telling her boss she couldn't work weekends. Michelle cheered her on and offered more tips. 90. Reclaim your schedule. Eliminate tasks that belong to others and free up space for your priorities. Example, Charlotte decided Avery should handle her own office paperwork. She now had time to focus on advancing her own career. 91. Rethink your definition of success. True success includes living in tune with your well-being, not just pleasing everyone. Example, Marisol replaced her "everyone must like me" mentality with "I must stay true to myself." She felt more genuine and at peace. 92. Spot manipulative flattery. Compliments can sometimes be a doorway to exploitation. Example, Delilah noticed Leah's sweet talk came right before she asked for large favors. She declined and saw that Leah stopped contacting her unless she needed something. 93. Commit to emotional authenticity. Bottling up negative feelings to keep peace only builds resentment. Example, Tamara told Olivia she felt anxious when Olivia teased her at work. Olivia apologized and changed her behavior, improving their bond. 94. Limit social media comparisons. You don't need to outperform anyone in niceness or helpfulness. Example, Gigi stopped fixating on Mari's over-the-top vacation posts online. She realized her self-worth wasn't tied to matching someone else's internet persona. 95. Trust your intuition with new people. If you sense something off about their approach, address it early. Example, Zara noticed Jackson seemed pushy about hanging out every day. She directly told him she needed personal space before it became a bigger issue. 96. Don't punish yourself if you revert to old patterns occasionally. Growth is a process with ups and downs. Example, Kaylee covered Jordan's big project one more time despite vowing not to. She forgave herself and reaffirmed her boundary afterward. 97. Challenge the idea that niceness equates to powerlessness. You can be kind and still stand your ground. Example, Fiona politely helped coworkers but refused when they tried to offload their core responsibilities on her. Her kindness remained intact, and she retained her dignity. 98. Look people in the eye and speak clearly. Even if you're nervous, this projects security and limits pushback. Example, Faith locked eyes with Troy while explaining she couldn't lend him her car again. He realized she was serious and didn't argue. 99. Reflect on your day. Note if you upheld your boundaries and where you can improve. Example, Lana realized she'd let Tim interrupt her multiple times. She decided she'd speak up immediately the next day. 100. Appreciate the evolution you're undergoing. Each step forward affirms you deserve respect and balanced relationships. Example, Anna realized she barely felt guilty after telling Theo, "That doesn't work for me." She celebrated how far she'd come from her old people-pleasing ways. Wow, can you believe we just walked through 100 steps to help you stop being a people-pleaser? That was a lot to take in, but I hope you found at least a few points that really resonated with you, maybe even gave you that little spark of motivation to start shifting your mindset immediately. It can be a bit overwhelming realizing how many tiny habits and patterns go into people-pleasing, but trust me, the effort you put into breaking free from those patterns will pay off. You deserve relationships and situations where you're respected, valued, and treated with kindness, not because you contorted yourself to please everyone, but because you hold genuine worth and self-confidence within. Remember, making these changes is a process, not a quick fix. One day you might be nailing your boundaries, and the next day, you find yourself slipping back into old habits. Just remember that it happens to all of us. But the crucial part is staying committed and compassionate toward yourself as you continue to grow. When you need an extra boost of encouragement, or if you feel yourself backsliding into those patterns, come back to this video. Let it be a reminder that you've made a conscious decision to change and that it's absolutely within your power to stay the course. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Every time you do, it not only supports this channel but also keeps you plugged into an uplifting community that's committed to personal growth and self-care. Now, if you're craving more targeted tools to keep up this momentum, don't forget about loveluxamore.com. As I mentioned in the beginning, it's a one-stop hub for digital products and services designed to help you thrive. Whether you're ready to give your dreams a visual centerpiece with a vision board analysis, supercharge your life with structured goal setting, or want daily reminders of your power through custom affirmations, you'll find something there that fits your needs. Think of it this way, leveling up your self-confidence isn't just about saying no more often, it's also about building a life that reflects who you really are and what you truly want. Vision boards help you see your end goal clearly, structured goal setting makes it all achievable, and custom affirmations keep you pumped up and believing in yourself along the way. Thanks again for watching, take care of yourself, and I'll catch you in the next video.